His sugar daddy was paying his rent. I'm not gonna knock you for how you get your money, whatever. I was 18, I understood what he was doing. He didn't want to share the number with me, and guess what happened? He lost his phone on the dark bus. He was laying with Butters, and then his thing was out. Like, his male extremity was out, and I was like, bro. Hi. So I wanted to tell y'all the story of me having a roommate when I was 18. Pretty much like 2 days before I turned 18, my mom made me move out, and she made me move into my own apartment, and it was cool. So with that being said, I moved like 2 days before I turned 18, I think, into my little apartment, and I lived in an efficiency apartment. If you don't know what that is, man, you probably don't, because nobody ever uses the word on YouTube. Everybody uses the word studio apartment. Well, it was an efficiency or studio apartment, you know. So pretty much you walk into the apartment. I think it was like literally like 300 square foot. The rent was $480. And I think like the whole time I lived there, the rent went up like a whole $40. And I lived there for a few years. But the apartment was super small. Like literally you walk in, it's just like there's the bedroom, living room, everything's all in one spot. And then the only separate rooms that you have is like a closet and the bathroom. The kitchen's in your bedroom pretty much. There's just like one weird counter thing like separating it. It was very small. I lived in Garland off of Walnut and Jupiter. If you live in Dallas and you know where that is, it's not the best area. It's kind of honestly it's kind of a little ghetto, but it's not as ghetto as if you went a little bit farther up the street to like Aldelia and Walnut. I would say that's like ghetto and you're probably not going to be safe. I lived there. I moved in by myself. I didn't have any roommates because there wasn't enough room. And I told my mom before I moved out, I don't want to have any roommates. I just want to live by myself because I know I can depend on me. I don't know if I can depend on some random person, you know? And then on top of that, I would have to find somebody to live with me, and I don't want to be living with a stranger or anything. So I lived on my own as soon as I turned 18, or like 2 days before technically. It was a very small apartment. It wasn't in the best area. It was in Garland, Texas. The area is mostly like Vietnamese or Hispanics. And I mean, I honestly really liked the area. I, for the most part, felt safe, although I had a few situations that were like pretty questionable. I worked at this place called Studio Movie Girl. Maybe you know about it, whatever. They're like everywhere. And I was a runner, so I would run people's foods, drinks, alcohol, and all that stuff. I got paid $6.50 plus tips, which I think they just tipped you $1, so then it was legally a little bit like 20 cents above minimum wage, which is BS. I worked there. I met a lot of people, and I had like a little set of friends that I would hang out with pretty often that I worked with. And then of course you kind of like become friends with their friends and people that they went to school with. And the place, like Studio Movie Girl, I worked off the one off Spring Valley, so a lot of people in Richardson work there, a lot of people that went to the high school and whatever, so on and so forth. There was this dude that I worked with. His name was, we'll call him Vic. So Vic he was cool. He was gay. He didn't work with me anymore at Studio Movie Girl. But anyway, Vic told me that he was pretty much like sleeping on park benches and stuff, and that legit scared the crap out of me, because I'm just like, he's gay. You hear all these horrible stories about people that are gay getting like beat up and just like terrible things happening to them just because they are the way they are. So I told him like, okay, you can stay with me for like, I think I told him like at first, you can stay with me for a few days till you get whatever figured out. Because pretty much he couldn't live with his mom for, you know, some unspecified reasons that I can't really say. Maybe it was part because he was gay. But I want to give you a little bit of background on Vic. So Vic is actually from the continent of Africa. I don't know which country specifically. He and his family came down here when they won a citizenship lottery. They don't really do this anymore. He won a citizenship lottery and they got citizenship to the United States. He has a few brothers and sisters, and as far as I know, people that are gay in Africa, it's not as accepted over there as it is here in the United States. And even you see how they get treated here in the United States, so. And one fucked up thing, he was telling me that when he did move down here from Africa to here to the United States, to Dallas, Texas, there were kids that were like making fun of him for the way he talked. Like they were just like clicking and stuff, and it's just like, really? Anyways, like a few days turned into a few weeks, and then a few weeks turned into a few months. And let's be real, at first I was like, I was not wanting him to stay for long. I didn't want him to stay for a few months either, you know? I'm 18, I want to live my life. Plus my apartment is 300 square feet there. I don't even have enough room. So pretty much, he ended up staying with me for like 3 or 4 months, and bro, it was the longest 3-4 months of my life. I do not like having a roommate. But it would be annoying because I would have my guy friends come over, and it wasn't like I had any kind of sexual interest in any of my friends, because I really didn't. Vic had a crush on all of my friends. Even like one of my friends that he has been in high school with for years, or for the last so many years or whatever. But it's just his thing. He just likes to like kind of like holler, you know what I mean? He was never inappropriate where he's like, you know, touching you or anything. It's just mostly him talking and being inappropriate. But, you know, as somebody that's like straight, when somebody that's not straight keeps hitting on you and you know that you're just not into that, it's just annoying. So that would get annoying. And luckily he never met my current boyfriend, because if he did, I probably wouldn't have a boyfriend. Let's be real. I feel like we lived in harmony for the most part, and I pretty much told him, okay, before I say this next part, I need to say that he didn't work with me at Studio Movie Girl anymore. He got fired, and he had a sugar daddy that was pretty much paying his half of my rent, which was $240. So literally, that is not shit. Nowadays, half a rent is like $500-600. So $240 was crazy. You will never hear about rent being that low ever again. But I did live in a bad area, and the apartment was all bills paid, so everything was included in the rent. I didn't have to pay electricity or water. But I will admit, I had roaches. My neighbors were sketchy, I swear. I even had one of my neighbors unscrew my like hubcaps, or like unscrew my screws on my wheels to my car. So then me and my boyfriend are driving on the fucking highway and the wheels like wobbling. And then we get to like Gas Monkey and we realize, oh my god, somebody totally unscrewed my fucking, oh, like the lug nuts. So yeah. I did not live in the best area. My apartment was small. I did not have enough room for another person to be living in there with me. It was me and my cat already, and I was counting down the days until he moved out, let me tell you. He just got annoying, and then it made me mad. His mom gave him money to go to the fucking store so we can get food. And by the way, I had an eating disorder at this time. I barely ate anything. And I honestly feel like, okay, maybe it was a little bit of like personal feelings towards how I looked, and the fact that I made $6.50 plus an hour, $6.50 plus whatever fucking BS tips. I was starving. Not because I wanted to, because I had to. I couldn't afford to eat. So I went and buy food, and his mom gives him like money for us to go to Sam's Club. And tell me why this dude just buys all seasons, all different kinds of seasons, not even anything that we can like heat up and eat. I'm just like, that made me so mad. You cannot understand. His mom gave us like $100-200 for food, and he just buys a bunch of seasoning and then nothing to cook. But I think we ended up going to Walmart or something getting food, which I don't understand why. Why didn't we get it at fucking Sam's Club or Costco or wherever the fuck we were, so then we could have had a lot of food to eat. We go to the store, we get food, and the oven that I had was like, it's not a regular size oven like you would get in a house or whatever. It was like a miniature oven, and I want to say it was probably from the fucking 1930s to 50s. It was so small, and the oven would not get up to like 350 degrees for shit. I would try to bake cakes. Like I tried to bake my boyfriend a cake one year, and you know, a cake should take less than an hour to cook. It took me 3 hours to cook that bitch. That's not normal. Something was wrong with the stove. So me and Vic were like, he's trying to cook some stuff up because I don't cook. I don't even buy food. So he's cooking something, and my little crappy stove has like a fucking explosion. Like, I shit you not. And it was so weird because I had to call the maintenance man, and then it's just like me, Vic, my cat, and then the maintenance man like fixing the stove, and they didn't know that I had him living with me, so it just looked weird. I shit you not, that like literally he's cooking, he has the pan, he's like moving it on the burner, and then like a big ass like explosion comes through the fucking burner part. I'm like, after that I kind of just felt like, fuck this oven, I do not trust it. Even if they say they fixed it, like, I need a new oven up in this bitch. God, I can't even cook a piece. I can't even cook anything. The only part that was good was the top of the burners, and I mean, even then, that fucking oven was struggling. Let me just tell you. Maybe that's another reason why I didn't eat. I knew I couldn't cook anything because my fucking appliances in that shit was not working. Oh, another thing about that stupid apartment. I didn't have a fuse box. It was in, like, the people next door to me, so I used a microwave a few times, and I had like a giant industrial microwave, probably one that came out of an apartment above a stove. Every time I tried to plug in the stupid microwave, and I probably only did it 2 times, it blew the fuse and my power went out, and I had to wait until the next day for the apartment people to like turn it back on. Or I had to go next door and like ask them. And of course, they don't speak English, so they're like, and they don't like me, so nothing really helps. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just drive to my mom's and eat food over there because this eating situation up in this apartment is not fucking working. It's not possible. God. Oh my gosh. Another stupid thing was the apartments weren't like humongous, but they were decently sized. And I swear they only had like, I think 6 washers and dryers. Of course, you don't get a washer and dryer in your apartment. You have to bring it somewhere, or you know, do it at their little weak-ass laundromat that overcharges you, barely get your clothes clean. So my homeboy, his sugar daddy, was paying his rent, and I told him, like, just because I was kind of, you know, whatever, I'm not gonna knock you for how you get your money, whatever. I was 18, I understood what he was doing, but I was just like, because it's mostly my apartment, I have way more stuff than you, and like my livelihood is here. I would just ask him, like, please don't have anybody over, and definitely do not bring your sugar daddy or the person that you're like messing around with, just because he got a piece of furniture from a furniture store from like Cons that was closing down, and it was like a couch, so he would sleep on his couch. I had my bed, and then I had a giant chair, and I had like a table with my TV and VCR on it. Yeah, I just didn't want to bring any people over, and then also my cat lived with me, and I didn't want him stressing my cat out, even though my cat loves people. But I just didn't want anybody in my apartment that I didn't know. And as far as I know, he abided by my rules and he respected that, so I really appreciated that. There was, at one point, I wanted to get a friend's number from him, and he didn't want to share it with me or whatever, because they were able to give us like good deals and stuff. He didn't want to share the number with me, and guess what happened? He lost his phone on the dart bus and it got stolen or something. He had like a Galaxy S, I don't know, 3 or 4 or whatever. It was a nice phone. So sad. But he was just very like, I don't know, he was damn near like a chick. If he felt some type of way, he'd let you know. He was a bit petty, I ain't gonna lie. But I did have this one, I don't know, before I met my boyfriend, I was on this stupid dating app thing called Meet Me, because my friend had one, and she would like pay money to like, I don't know, have people ask her questions, and like she was like a premium member. And it was so stupid looking back, because it's like, I got a creepy message from somebody on there, and I had him reply, and oh my god, he was saying some awful shit. Like, yeah, let's just say that dude never messaged me again with anything dirty or derogative ever again. He probably blocked me after that, actually. But he was a really good friend. I liked having him around, and it was just nice to have somebody to, like, in general to talk to and, like, you know, relate to. But he would annoy me a lot, and I mentioned my cat lived with us, right? Well, my cat loves everybody. He's very friendly. He's never been, like, hateful towards anybody as far as I know. And for some reason, one day, we were, like, giving him a bubble bath, or, like, a bath. Vic picks him up, and he just straight up, like, I shit you not, my cat just, like, peed out of the air, and I'm like, whoa, that's pretty weird. So it just didn't make me feel good. And then honestly, okay, there was one day he was laying with Butters, and then his thing was out, like his male extremity was out, and I was like, bro, your dick is out and you're holding my cat. And he's like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, bro. So I don't know. At this point in time, I was just getting fed up with things, and towards the very end, he knew that he owed me $240 for rent, whatever. We'd been living together for months, and he was pretty good about paying it. And just because I'm extra paranoid and I already barely made enough money to live in that crappy little apartment, I'm like, are you gonna have your rent? Are you gonna have your rent? And I swear, I probably asked him over 20 fucking times. Well, the day comes to pay the fucking rent, right? Or it's getting closer, like 2-3 days before or whatever. You know, they give you a grace period, like from 1 to the 3rd to pay your rent. I guess just in case the weekends, the office is closed and you have to drop off money orders. And that's what I had to do at the time, because they didn't have any online portal thing where you could pay your rent. It's just, you drop it in the Dropbox, and yeah. Hope they get it, and hopefully nobody breaks in and steals all the money orders. I literally asked him over 20 something times, are you gonna have this, your $240, your half of rent? And he keeps telling me yes. And he was pretty much telling me, I think that, I don't know, I think we agreed a few months prior, like, this is when you're gonna have to move out. Because I think I was pretty much telling him, like, I need my apartment back. I need to be able to, like, live in my apartment and, you know, do what I need to do, and if I want to have a dude over and have some fun, like, I want to be alone and be able to do that. I don't know. I was just going crazy. It was just so much BS. It was just a lot to have a roommate, especially being 18. That was my first apartment, and the apartment was definitely not big enough for 2 people. If I got mad, I would just have to sit there and stare at his face. I couldn't even go anywhere unless it was the bathroom or the closet. Well, I asked him, you gonna have the rent? He said yes, and of course. And I'm pretty sure, like, days before he was moving out, we put all of his stuff, either that or I did, I don't even remember, but I think I probably actually packed all of his stuff in my little red Ford Escape. I was like, okay, like, where do you want me to move your stuff to? You have to get out, and I need my half of rent. And I go over to his mom's house. She lives, like, right up the street from Studio Movie Girl off Spring Valley. He had a massive panic attack and started screaming at me and going fucking ballistic and like hitting shit and just going nuts. Like, he was mad that I wouldn't give him his stuff back because he owed me my half of rent. And y'all don't understand, that apartment was my every fucking thing. That was the only thing I had. I did not want to go back and live with my mom after she just made me move out, and she wouldn't even let me pay rent and live with them. So, you know, I was just over it. I just wanted him out. I just wanted him to give me my half of rent so I wouldn't be fucked. And lo and behold, when I came to get the rent, he blew up on me, freaked out, and had, like, you know, he was going crazy and pretty much telling me, like, I need to give him his stuff even though he wasn't giving my half of rent. And I'm like, sorry, but that's not gonna happen. Your stuff is gonna stay in my Ford Escape until you pay me the money. So his mom saw him blow up, his sisters and brothers were home, and yeah, well, his mom supposedly took the money out that he owed me of their rent and gave it to me. Which, looking back, my rent was only $240, or his half was, so that really wasn't shit. Versus, like, now my rent split with my boyfriend is like over $600. So I think she probably took a $200 something loss and it wasn't that big of a deal. Probably overdrafted her account, like, whatever. But I remember at the end, like, you know, I guess we kind of ended on bad terms. And, like, we definitely didn't hang out anymore after that. He pretty much thanked me and told me that he was so grateful that I was like one of the only people that helped him out whenever he needed it. And that made me feel good and made me feel happy because I legit didn't want him sleeping on park benches and thinking of all the possibilities and things that could have happened to him. We didn't totally end our friendship on, like, bad terms. Even though we never really ended our friendship, we just never hung out again and never talked again. I deleted my Facebook so many years ago. I tried to look him up on Facebook. I don't even know what happened to him or where he is. Maybe he's just been like me and just deleted social media and does YouTube and Instagram and that's it. I'll be real. If somebody needed a place to stay and my sisters need a place to stay a million times already, the answer would have to be no, because it's just not something I'm willing to do, and I can't do because I'm in a relationship now. When I was single and 18, I was very, very nice, honestly, because a lot of people won't let you stay at their house. A lot of people won't let you stay for months, even if you are paying half the rent. I'm very lucky, and I feel like sometimes I feel that I've been in a relationship so long, like almost since I met my boyfriend when I was 18, about to turn 19, so I almost feel like I've missed out on so much stuff just because I'm in this relationship. But honestly, that first year of being 18 and living on my own, or I guess a little bit over 18, my boyfriend and me dated for a few months before we ever moved in. My biggest regret is that I didn't start filming stuff for YouTube until years later, because that crappy apartment that I had, I wish I would have, like, got more videos and pictures of it. I've moved up so much from those days, it's crazy. That's my roommate from hell story time. My biggest thing is with roommates, especially with what happened to me with rent, they can just fuck you over if they feel like it or they don't want to pay, so you just have to be really careful and, yeah, be aware that it can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter if they're your friend, your boyfriend, girlfriend, shit, even your parents, honestly. So be careful if you're gonna let somebody stay with you, and have their half of rent saved and put aside just in case they don't have theirs, because it happens and you just don't want to have, like, the rug pulled out from under you and be shocked. So yeah, well, I don't regret helping him out. You know, another thing I feel like I need to mention, he didn't have a car at all, so he couldn't have slept in a car or in his car because he didn't have one. He was one of those dudes that would be able to call somebody and they would just come and pick him up. And yeah. Alright, well. Oh shit, the battery's about to die. Well, please like and subscribe. Please, it helps so much. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Bye, everybody. You better have subscribed, or else I'm gonna come and find you. I'm just kidding. Bye, everybody.